All right, welcome everybody to Dave Cooper Live, where we bring you the people, the products, and the processes helping us all to build it better. And today we continue the conversation on innovative homes, specifically prefab homes designed to be deconstructed, reused, or recycled. Affordable, panelized homes that can grow or shrink. That's right, grow or shrink in size. Today, we welcome founder of Aura Homes, Justin Steinfeld, as he introduces their concept for modular workforce homes, building communities that reflect the American dream. But first, and as always, we have to thank our sponsors. So before we get into this, let's give a quick shout out to them. Forward Solutions Group is successfully driving companies to succeed where others have failed. Are you looking to start a factory, optimize your existing factory, streamline your production, or take your team to the next level? Whatever your needs are, Forward has a solution for you. Reach out to Ben at forwardsolutionsgroup.com. Halleck Ltd. has a long history of innovation in cold form steel manufacturing and producing innovative precision roll forming technology for customers throughout the United States and the world. Check out their machine buyer's guide for off-site modular construction or fast build construction with light steel for framing. Go to their website, halleckltd.com. Brought to you by Greatech, one of the largest Autodesk partners globally and software developer of the PowerPack Advanced Design, Advanced Steel, and the StruxSoft product line. The complete solution to automate wood and light gauge steel framing, design, and documentation all the way out to CNC output, model, design, and manufacture with StruxSoft. Learn more at StruxSoftSolutions.com. All right. Again, thanks to all of our sponsors out there. Let's bring on Justin Steinfeld to the show. Justin, how are you, my friend?
Hey, Dave. I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on the show. I really appreciate it.
Hey, listen, we love to show innovation. We love to showcase new ideas. And not only are you bringing a new idea, you know, some of the concepts like we talked about have been there, but you're getting ready to actually start some stuff. And that's fun to talk about. But first, Justin, before we get into it, we want to know everything about you from the moment you were born to this very moment in time. Do not leave out any of the good stuff from the hospital, or we will have your mother on the show. You only have 2 minutes to do it, so off and running you go.
Well, thanks, Dave. Yeah, so I'm a mechanical engineer, born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. I got my MBA from Georgia Tech this past summer. I've worked at startups the past 6 years of my career. And one of them in particular was a battery powered company called Sonnen Battery that was a competitor to the Tesla Powerwall, if you don't know it. And then I worked at another startup that was making dry cleaning easier for everyone. And now I'm off to solve the biggest problem that I could find. And man, did I feel it personally. And I'm happy to be doing this. And I have a pilot's license. I'm a woodworker. And I'm a certified, well, not anymore, but I'm an EMT. I've had my EMT license. So I've tried to dabble in a little bit of everything, but I'm excited to put my mechanical engineering and my MBA skills to use here. And that's where I come from.
All right. Well, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So great background. You got some skills in there. You got the education in there, right? So that's a great thing that we need in as you can tell, you're a young guy, and we love young and innovative people coming into this space because that's what's going to change it. So with that said, if you are just joining us, we are speaking with Justin Steinfeld of Aura Homes on the topic of attainable prefab home designed to be reconstructed or recycled using panelized construction or deconstructed, all the above. So let's get into it, Justin. Here you are, a young guy. Give me like, where did this come from? Let's talk about how the idea of changing how we build and how we recycle homes came to mind, and then let's jump into exactly what Aura Homes is. You have a bit of a presentation, and we'll share the website as well.
Yeah, well, so a few years ago, I was searching for a first house for me and my wife. We spent 6 months looking. This was 2021. We spent 6 months looking for a house. We're one of 14 offers on every single house. Every single one was going 50K over asking. It was grueling visiting all of these houses and trying to find, sacrificing point for point, square footage, age, amenities, as we just wanted to find a place to call our own. And we finally found a place. We offered 50K over asking. We beat out by the next of the 14 people by $1,000. And we got in the house and moved in, and we're on a high and started looking around. And one of the 3 bathrooms was inoperable. The dryer vent was working with a rain gutter, and the HVAC needed to be replaced. And I spent the next few months trying to figure out how and why we paid 50K over asking, a premium on a home that still needed all these repairs being done to it. And I just got upset about it. And as I spoke to more and more people started seeing the problem grow, seeing all of the inefficiencies in construction that there are right now, the 25 to 30 subs it takes on average to build, the subcontractors, the 9 months it takes to build a traditional home, how all the tradesmen are busy, it's hard to find good ones and build trust in. I knew from my experience as a mechanical engineer, building out systems, cradle to grave systems, and Sonnen battery with the battery systems, that there was going to be a better way to do this in a way that didn't need as much skills on site, to limit the number of subcontractors. So our goal is to figure out the most efficient way to build a house from start to finish that is as customizable and scalable as possible, so that each person can get the house they can afford, knowing that in the future they can change the house over time as their family grows, as they get more money, and it suits their needs. And the only reason you should ever have to move is because you want to change locations, not because the house doesn't suit your needs anymore.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is a huge undertaking, right? To design something like you're talking about, and I think there's a real viable market for it, 110%. So, like, when you sit there and you say, like, and you said, what is the problem? What's the problem you're solving? Is it affordable housing? Is it housing that's well built? Is it housing that just has everything we have that you need in it? So, I mean, when you sit there and you say this is the problem, outside of what you just explained on your own personal
Mhm.
experience, what is the big problem that you think the world has in this, at least here in the States?
Yeah, right now, it is the most profitable to build big and build dense, and that's why we get the $800,000 homes, the $1 million homes, the apartment complexes, the mixed use apartment complexes. It is because these builders, these standard builder, they come in and they want to make the biggest profit that they can, and the best way to do that is to build large and dense, and so you lose the $300,000 homes. So the bet here, the problem is that we can make building smaller homes more profitable than building bigger homes. And if we can validate that, and if we can pull that off, then we think that the industry will shift. That this new style of building will allow for more affordable and obtainable homes for the average person.
Yeah. Before we get into, the details on the designs and the projects you're working on, let's talk a little bit about the socioeconomic impact of attainable housing on a community. And I know that's a really big thing to you, right? So why don't we hop into that? Then we'll talk a little bit about what the goal of the company Aura is, and then let's get into really what is an Aura home, because that's the exciting part.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, where would you like me to start?
Let's start with the socioeconomic impact of attainable housing on the community.
So I actually don't think it's just obtainable housing. So right now there's this huge problem where people can't afford houses.
Yeah.
It was easier to buy a home in the Great Depression than it is today. Where a house costs 6, 7 times the average salary today, and in the Great Depression it was only 3 times. And that's absolutely crazy to me. Everybody needs to be able to buy a house, to grow with it, to build equity, so that they can um, move through the socioeconomic spectrum, so we all have the opportunity to grow. And that feeds right into the American dream, which I feel that my generation and younger are starting to be left out of. Big problem is that the large companies, the Lennars and the BlackRocks, are building rental only neighborhoods. So their answer to the affordable solution is let's buy up single family homes and rent them out for something underneath what it costs to what a mortgage would be. And that's a crazy direction from my perspective. But I think it's deeper than that. I think that being able to buy a home is the first step, and buying a home that you can afford that suits your needs today is just the first step. The second step is we need to change the way we're building neighborhoods and subdivisions. I think America has really gone off track with the way we've built subdivisions, and it makes perfect sense from the top down. But the result is we've lost walkability and we've lost the sense of community. I live in a 200 home neighborhood, and I know a few of my neighbors, but that's because there's no place for us as a neighborhood to come together. There's no community
Right.
amenities. There's no light commercial. There's no third places. I have to get in my car and go to downtown Tucker if I want to sit at the local coffee shop and have a chance at meeting 50,000 people rather than the 200 of my closest neighbors. So part of this is getting the housing technology right. But the other part of this is
Mhm.
creating a new blueprint for neighborhoods and subdivisions that are buildable and scalable, that introduce third places, community gardens, and bring people back. It draws people together to the middle of the community through parks and the community gardens, so that we can start to see each other again. We're drawn back together. We have our third places that we can go and coexist at, that are easy to get to. They're a minute walk, 2-minute walk. And right now, current zoning makes that very difficult to build mix in light commercial like that,
Mhm.
for a variety of reasons, different utilities to start, but codes and zonings just make it difficult.
Yeah.
There's things like planned urban developments that lots of municipalities have, that open up the opportunity, but it's still an uphill battle and far from guaranteed. So part of this is to change the way we build houses, and the other part is to redefine the American suburb.
Don't you also think though it's giving people an opportunity to get off their technology and their phones? Because even when people are outside walking, they're typically like this, right?
Yeah,
Passing by the neighbor who's cutting the grass or sitting outside, drinking a beer, whatever they're doing. But I mean, I think there is some. I think technology and social media and the way we interact today has also impacted how we do, converse in communities or anywhere else.
yeah. I wonder if it's a crutch, or if we had the opportunity to interact with our neighbors in the center of a neighborhood, would we still be as drawn to our technology? If the
Yeah.
opportunity was there and the amenities existed, um, would we still do that?
Yeah.
I wonder. I wonder where
Well,
our
there's a
inclinations
lot
go.
of there's a lot of beer gardens now that people are flocking to, right? And throwing cornhole and all that stuff. So I do think
I
there
love
is some
those.
of that, but I hear what you're saying. You got to give people a place to go, give them a reason to do something else within the community. So I
Right.
definitely agree. I think we're so connected today, but we're so disconnected at the same time.
Yeah.
Is part of what's going on there. All
Yeah.
right. So here you are. So you have the vision, you understand the socioeconomical impacts and what you see the future is. I agree with you. The build to rent stuff. Hey man, from a business perspective and the folks that are doing it, yeah, it's a great idea, right? Because they're taking advantage of it. But from society perspective, you're right. They are making it harder and harder for people to actually buy homes, mainly because they're buying up all the land and all the homes for themselves to rent them out at less of a price. So all
Right.
of that makes complete sense. And I'm not saying one's better than the other. I get the business side of that. It makes sense based on where we are today. Let's talk about Aura Homes. What's your solution to this?
Yeah, so our version of modular, the way that we think we get the best combination of scalable and customizable, is through a completed and panelized version of modular. So if you cut the home up into 8 foot wide by 10 foot tall segments of wall, you get 20 to 25 different wall segments: the bathroom wall, the standard wall, the windowed wall, the door wall, the sliding door wall. And you can piece those together in any order and any number. In the end, the company doesn't really care how big the house is, just having how many panels are sold. So the idea is that we make the profit on the panels themselves, not the house on the whole.
Right.
And that the panelized construction allows you to get really creative with your house. If you want to build out a C house or an H-shaped house or a square house or a big porch or small porch, it's all on the table. And the idea is that in that build form on the website, you'll be able to draw out your floor plan, select from some standard ones. It should feel pretty familiar, like The Sims or Fortnite, and it should be relatively simple. All the engineering should be pre-done per panel, and that's what we'll go to certify for. And each panel should have its finishings, its insulation, its weatherproofing, weather barriers. Siding and drywall are easier done on site, so that'll be a challenge that we'll grow into. But the electrical and plumbing should be built in, and they'll connect through wire harnesses and blind connects to make it as easy and quick as possible for the expensive subs like the electricians and the plumbers to come through and connect up the panels. So right, and then yeah. So the goal is to give you a house that reflects who you are, and that's where our name comes from. The name Aura was chosen very
Yeah.
specifically. Aura is an extension of who you are as a person. It's the vibe you're giving off, and your house is meant to be a reflection of who you are. It's a very tailor-made thing, and it should reflect
Yeah.
you as an individual.
So the interesting side of this is, right, we just talked about, having a neighborhood where we can all gather and get together, right? And the
Mhm.
aura of like bring people together. But the other side of this, and we talked about how technology is it limiting people from getting together. But on the other side of that one, you guys are going to think about using or are using technology like a Zillow or others to tie your entire shopping experience to buy, build a house all into one. So why don't we talk about that for a second, and then let's show your show your slide deck next.
Yeah, well, so there's a lot to learn here. This is a pretty atypical approach to designing and building a custom home.
Yeah.
So the best way to do that is going to be to make it to make it fit into the current buying process as seamlessly as possible. And most people are very comfortable using Zillow or Redfin to search for their home. So the idea is that you'll be able to look up the zip code because you care about first where you're going to live, and then you care about finding a home you can afford. So you'll look up your zip code, you'll find a plot of land that Aura has in that area, that will that is for sale. And when you bring up the link, it'll redirect you to our website that will allow you to design your home for that plot of land. And then you'll go through a more it should feel very familiar to a car purchase feel, car customization feel, so that you step through and you configure your house, and then you go through the background check, put your down payment, and the house gets delivered and assembled, and you start paying your mortgage. And
Yeah.
it should be very seamless. One of the big problems with other prefab and modular construction that already exist is that they don't take care of buying the land. They don't take care of permitting and zoning. So you as the customer still have to go out there, find the land, make sure it's okay to build that specific modular home in that place. So the goal will be to try and eliminate that educational portion of it. So to, yeah, just
Is there a software side to this that you guys will be working on as well that does tie this together? And because buying land's one thing, buying land that you can actually build on is another.
yeah. Yeah, so there will be a land development side. So we'll work with. There's a lot of companies out there that are using AI and other things to find land, tell you what
Yep.
it's zoned as, what the regulations are, how buildable it is, what the buildable area is. So we'll end up working with companies like that. That that's not our focus, but it's a critical component. So we'll need to partner with somebody like that.
Got it. So here we are. Let's hop into this. So this is where we're at. We're selecting land on where we want to build. Tell us how your company fits into that.
Yeah, so this would be on our website. This is a look into the future. So you'd come onto our website, hit the build form, hit that build column, and you'd come in here. You type in your zip code that you want to live, pick your plot of land, hit build, and then you'd be given this page where you're free to configure your home and give in your preview. So you can select your square footage, choose your bed and bath, your car store, if you want a garage or a carport or not at all, and the theme of the house, if you're going for a modern farmhouse or colonial or Cape Cod, and then any add-ons that you might want. So smart home is another key part of this. We think we can build a smart home from the ground up instead of the top down, making it much more feasible so that a light switch could control any light in the house with a standard light switch and a standard outlet, just the way it's all connected together, making it much more approachable. If you want Samsung or LG appliances, and if you want a furniture package, because if this is your first home and the heart of our target market is first-time home buyers, then you can select a furniture package and work it into the mortgage. And then you get your line item by line item checkout, so that you know exactly how much everything is costing, and then you get a quote, background check, down payment, delivered and assembled.
Got it. And then all right, so delivered and assembled. Who's handling the delivery and assembly? Is that all going to be through Aura Homes, or is there going to be general contractors and site people involved? And who hires them? The homeowner, or do you guys handle all that?
Yeah, I think initially it's going to be us. We'll have our builders. Eventually, as we grow and move across the Southeast and the country, we'll have certified builders that aren't necessarily tied to Aura Homes directly, but that will go through a training course, and the panels will be designed simply enough for anybody with a drill to bolt them together.
Right.
And put it together. So it's just going to have to be building trust in builders, but initially it will be our own.
You mentioned modular. Are you truly looking at building modular or using a system of wall panels, floor panels, roof panels?
What do you mean by modular? What is your
So
definition
is
of
it a
modular?
volumetric build? Is it going to be the walls, roof, floor, ceiling, all coming in a truck with the furniture inside? Or is it going to be a panelized system where you put the walls together on site?
Panelized. It's flat packable, which makes it easier to
Yep.
ship. You don't need special permissions and special permits to drive the flatbed with the extra wide load, which is another reason it's costly to build prefab in factories. It also cuts down on the factory space that's needed, so you can stack the wall panels top to bottom, the floor panels and the roof panels top to bottom in a relatively small space. Whereas if you're going to build truly prefab modular houses in a factory offsite, then you need a relatively large space comparatively.
Yeah.
It also has the benefit of if you're building a finished product and depositing it on site, you need to have a modular certified factory, so that you don't have to, for the inspection part of this. This follows some kind of gray area that we'll have to work with the separate counties as to how to best certify it. So it'll probably involve inspection panels, so that inspectors can see what's going on under the hood when they get to site.
Yeah, you're definitely going to need third-party inspections, even on a closed wall panel system, right? So understood on all that. Talk to me about the proprietary side of this, because wall panels, floor, roof, walls, closed systems, open systems are nothing new. But the way your panels are designed, they're able to be moved, relocated. You can add stories, right? Walk me through what that looks like, what the material is, and how you're going to accomplish this. Because right now you don't have a factory; you have partners that you're working with that are building these, correct?
Right. So we working with local fab shops. our first pass at this will be out of sheet metal, although we're investigating other options like precast concrete, and maybe even carbon fiber panels. Um, so we'll build out the panels in the 8-foot segments, and they'll be completed front to back with insulation and electrical and plumbing built in.
Mhm.
So the proprietary part will be how the panels connect together. The blind connects so that when you set the panels into place, the electrical, the Ethernet, the DC, and the AC, and the hot, cold, and plumbing and drain will connect up as you bolt down the panel. So what that does is, as you move the panels around, you can. It's a relatively simple process to pick it up, shift it over, and bolt it down. So if you want to add a second story, for example, if you only have 800 square feet, you want to add a second story, the crane comes in, unbolts the roof panels, puts on a second story wall, and puts back on the same roof panels. So that way you get your second story. And then as kids grow up, move out of the house, you get older, you don't want as much space, don't want to maintain it, take care of it, you can do the opposite. You'll be able to take off the roof panels again, take off the second floor walls, and ship them back to the factory where they can be resold as used panels and continue the mission of providing affordable housing for a lower cost down the line to somebody else. So then that way we keep the
Yeah.
path going.
What's the interior walls of this going to be? Is it going to be sheetrocked where you're spackling and taping, or are you using a different system to get away from having to do all that? So these are easily taken apart and put together. And also on the wiring, I'm assuming you're using quick connects, or you're using a low voltage wiring system.
Yeah, the wiring. So AC and DC are relatively simple. There's industrial blind connects that are out there that exist that we
Hmm.
can get to work in different ways. And there's some options there. The plumbing is a little trickier, especially the drains, but the pressurized lines there's gasketing, and we can tune that to do what it needs to do. The interior walls will be a little bit tricky. They're probably phase two of the modular system. The exterior walls will come first, then the floors, and the roofs, and then the interior walls as modular goes, as we work to design the modularity back in. So they'll be ideally the same components made out of the sheet metal,
Yeah.
out of the same skeleton, and the seams will probably be covered by a simple cover, um, without trying not to make it permanent. Although, you know, if we've got to rip that apart, then so be it. It's not the worst thing to run a vacuum through the house and move walls around. But ideally, they'll be on wheels, and you'll be able to shuttle them around. Um, yeah, as the time needs. But it's not an everyday thing. You're not meant to do this, you know, two
Yeah.
days in a row
Hmm.
every
Hmm.
couple of years.
Right. Right. So you guys have a project already getting ready to start in Stone Mountain, where you're going to start applying some of these processes and techniques. A lot of it's going to be site built, I think you were saying before the show. So walk us through, what is this project in Stone Mountain, and then where are you guys going from here?
Yeah, so we're working on a project in Stone Mountain. It's going to be traditionally built, tiny homes, between 800 and 1,200 square feet, probably. So not too tiny. But the goal is to make the homes priced 3 times the salary in the area. So we're shooting for under 300,000 for a purchase price. Um, and we're working with a couple nonprofits where we're trying our best to, so that we know that the community is behind us, and we're delivering a product that we know the community wants. Working with the nonprofits in that area is very important to us and resonates with us. It'll have the affordability, the resiliency, and the community components that we want to see in our products. And that it should have a community garden. There'll be 4 to 6 homes on a plot of land facing interior to a park of some sort, on point 0.5 to 0.75 acres. And we aim to, well, be a good bit through it by the end of this year. But
Mhm.
it's construction and things happen. So
How many how
that's our
many
goal.
how many people in the company?
Right now, there's three of us internally. So
Mhm.
it's me and a full stack software developer. I'm a mechanical engineer, and that's how I'm operating. A full stack software developer and a product manager. Um, Yafit is our software engineer, and Dirk Brown is our product manager. So
Got it.
we're using outside parties for the other components of building out this, but we aim to grow big. We're shooting to hire our first round of employees by this time next year, 7 or so, and then grow from there to 20 and more the following years. So
Yeah.
we're
And
not stopping small.
and is the idea to actually have your own manufacturing facilities eventually? And will those manufacturing facilities only be in Georgia? Or are you looking to franchise this idea across the country? What's the what do they call it? BHAG, the big hairy audacious goal or whatever, right?
So I'm a big fan of vertical integration.
Hmm.
The more we can bring in house, the better. It gets cheaper. There's less inefficiencies, more affordable. Produces a better quality product. We understand the product inside and out. Vertical integration's the path forward, but we'll have. It's a long ride to get there. Um, the big, hairy, audacious goal is we'll start, we'll move across climate zones. So we'll start in the zone 3 climate zone that Atlanta's in and the Southeast. And then we'll start to shift into the other climate zones over time,
Okay.
where we'll have factories in major cities and the different climate zones, six or eight of them. And then we'll have franchised smaller spoke factories that deal with maintenance and last mile serviceability, because that's a big part of us. Another big differentiator is most builders will stop at the sale of the home. But one of the ways that we aim to make this more profitable for us and to build confidence in the homeowner is to stay with them through the lifespan of the home. So we want to provide servicing options, maintenance options, so that if
Hmm.
anything goes wrong in your house, you can call the dealership, so to speak, and we'll be out there and we'll fix it right. And if you want to sign up for the maintenance semi-annually, then we'll come out there once a year, once every 6 months, and uh, blow out the gutters and change out the filters and do anything that needs to be done. And there to ask
Right.
questions. So our goal is to build a brand and to be there for the lifespan of the home.
Yeah, hey, listen, if you're building some of these communities where you're putting in the gardening and the infrastructure for people to get together, maybe beer gardens, who knows where you go with this. But the reality of it is, right? I mean, that's a service add that you can add, where you maintain gutters and grass and, the filters in the house or whatever the case is. So makes
Right.
it makes a ton of sense. With these houses, you're only going to do communities, or if I have a piece of land as a single owner, like you said on Zillow, it doesn't matter. You can just build on my property as well.
Well, Matt, if
Hmm.
if the land's there and it's viable to build on, then
Yep.
we'll sell the panels and we'll make it happen. So that's there's a way that will operate normally, and then if there's one-offs, then great, and we'll do
Yep.
that too.
My last question, and hard question too, probably, but I'm going to ask it. When it comes to understanding the price points that you're looking to hit, how did you come up with that? Like, where did your research come from to understand the manufacturing process, the material costs, inflation, deflation, everything in this industry that is so out of your control? Um, how are you managing that and coming up with something that's truly is marketable, cost effective to meet your goals and obviously get to that BHAG?
Yeah. So traditional builds are filled with inefficiencies. It takes an average of 25 to 30 subcontractors.
Yep.
So that's the first thing to knock out. If we can lower the total number of subcontractors, then we create margin where margin wasn't there, so
Yeah.
we can come under the price. There's a goal price. In Atlanta, the average square footage for price per square foot for an existing home is $170 a square foot.
Mhm.
And if we can manage to get our homes below that price, then we become a no-brainer. So that's the goal. We'll start out somewhere near 240 because and that's the average new build price in Atlanta for a spec home, I believe. Um,
Got it.
Right. So the way we'll do this is, as a mechanical engineer, I've thought a lot about how you bring down price pennies as you build thousands. So we're going to be a lower cost, which means higher quantities. And there's a number of technologies that have been proven to work really well at scale. And again, taking a page from the car industry, there's casting and stamping machines that build relatively large and complicated chassis for cars. The
Right.
Tesla, the Tesla large has the largest stamping press in the world as a good example of what can be possible. And this is a pan. This is a rectangle. It should be simple. So when we start building hundreds of homes, we'll start moving towards one of those in mass production methods, such as casting, stamping,
Right.
drawing, that will bring down that floor of the price below what traditional wooden construction can do, timber construction, because there's only so low that goes. And the big manufacturers like Lennar and D.R. Horton and Clayton, they're buying up the materials as cheaply as you can possibly get them. So there's no beating them there. So it's about using the right manufacturing processes and creating a system that is agnostic of the size of the home, so that it can be repeated over and over and over again, and we really get those efficiencies of scale. So it'll start out roughly the
Yep.
same price as a traditional home, and then we'll work to bring it down below the price of an existing home, and
Yeah.
hopefully
Yeah.
to something that's as affordable as possible for as many people as possible.
So use the efficiency of engineering and design so you can get the scalability and the customization, right? Because these are movable wall sections you can add, build, do whatever you want. Well, listen, Justin, I think this is great. I think it's a huge undertaking. I give you guys a lot of credit. I mean, you're off and running. You got your first project going, and we love to celebrate anybody coming into this space that has a new idea, different ways of thinking. And I believe there's so many people in this space that will be willing to help you. You're not on an island by yourself either. So make sure you use the resources. You'd be really surprised how many people in this space would love to just, say, hey, been there, did this, done that, probably help you along the way too. So thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you. And hey, if you know anybody, send them my way. But I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me and ask me
Yeah.
on this. This is a great experience, and love your show. And
Thank you.
I'm excited to keep watching what you put out. So
Yeah.
thank you for
Hey,
doing what you do.
Hey, you're welcome. Hey, we got to celebrate the people coming into this space. I'm telling you, and you have a lot going for you in your first project. So I'm super excited for you. So you guys keep doing what you're doing. You're doing all the hard work right now. My job's easy here. I just get to talk about you and everybody else out there, and hopefully spread the word. So, hey, Justin, what's the best way for anybody that wants to be a part of what you're doing, or wants to understand more about what you're doing, or just says, "Hey, listen, I want to help these guys out. I've done some of this stuff before." What's the best way to reach you?
Yeah, on our website, there's an email. Contact at connect at aurahomes.io, or feel free to email me, steinfeld.j at aurahomes.io, or just visit our website, fill out our build form. We need all the interactions we can get, and let us know if you have any thoughts or want to get involved. We'd really appreciate it. Any advice, any thoughts, any feedback about the way we're going, happy to hear it, and really looking forward to building something that everyone can that connects with as many people as possible. So
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to put two quick comments up here as well. There you go. Cross stream, RO Homes IO. we also, just so everybody knows, got our good friend Greg Ugaldi. I don't know if you know Greg. Greg is the past chair of the National Association of Home Builders. He still updates the president of the United States on housing. He is the big dog in the house, as we like to say. And he said, glad your power's back on. Justin is quite informative. Many tenants love free beer, pizza, and happy hour. Yeah, to include us, right, Greg? Yeah, we do. We do. Yes, we lost everything. Internet, all that was down right before this show. So it was a little squirrely for a guy that relies on power and internet. That's for sure.
Speaking of technology.
Yeah, have faith. Hey, man, thank you so much. So thank you, Dave. It says, have faith. We appreciate you tuning in and joining us, and the rest of you out there. There's quite a few of you right now. So reach out to Justin, give him a hello. And Justin, make sure you say thanks to all the sponsors that help us bring these shows to fruition and allow to showcase folks like yourself and your team. So guess what? It's Wednesday. That means we have 2.5 more days to keep building it better. So let's make sure everybody gets out there and gets it done, because we need to make housing more sustainable, more affordable, and it has to be a healthy place to live. Justin, thank you.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Dave. Sponsors.
Yay. Stay right there, Justin. I'll come back to you after the show. Everybody else, a few words from these other sponsors. Thanks so much. What an amazing show. Thank you to all of our sponsors for helping us to continue to bring all of these innovative conversations to all of you out there. Please visit them, see what they have to offer you. And as always, subscribe to the YouTube channel and ring that bell. It would mean the world to us. I'm Dave Cooper. Thanks for watching.